Very good.
Perfect, thank you. Want to welcome everyone to the Corporation of the Township of Ballinger Valley Committee meeting today. Today is Tuesday, December 19th, 2023. It's 1:30 p.m. We're meeting in the council chambers, municipal building, and via Zoom conferencing. Is there any additions to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to add the email from Judy Bates sent yesterday with regard to an extension for the LCPOA executive to review the report from our consultants regarding RVs on Lake Claire.
Okay, so that'll be item number 7 for correspondence B.
Thank you.
And I don't actually have a library report for today, so we can strike out 8.2 as well.
This treat.
And then Tracy, were you still gonna do your museum report, or you do want to do that at the next meeting?
I don't have any further things to report, thanks.
Perfect, so then we just have 8.3 under new and unfinished business. Jen, was there anything else?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Merv, did you have anything to add? Perfect, so could I please have a confirmation of the agenda, please? Merv, thank you very much. All those in favor? Awesome, thank you. Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, perfect. Was there any errors or omissions with the minutes of the last meeting? I didn't see any, so, no. Perfect. Jen, thank you. All those in favor? Perfect, thank you. And we do have a delegation today for the museum murals. We have Laurel Cook here to present.
No stranger to the chamber.
All right, I actually had printed this up if you wanted to have a cup of coffee, just to help you walk this through. I'm gonna do it as quick as I can. Did you want one of them? Sure. Thank you.
Laurel, could you do this in a smaller font?
It was this morning, don't push me.
The chair has no problem with that, so it's all right.
Okay.
Yes, my magnifying
What I'm
glass.
presenting today is the smaller panels. So I'm gonna actually walk you through what we envision as the heritage tour and where we'd like the township to assist. So the first one is Genevieve Townsend did the illustrated map that is supposed to go at the tourism area there.
Yes,
So the first one would be the woolen mill, and I would put it on the side of the log cabin. Because if you looked toward the wheels on this side,
yep,
and you look, that's where the woolen mill would have been situated.
okay, and it won't be obstructed by anything?
No, not really. There's
Okay.
actually, there's not much to, you could probably just look out to the river, but you would just see the panel, just, if you see it, there was the woolen mill there.
Yeah.
So then as you walk down the street, the next one would be at Fresh Mart. And that would be the mill block. I have talked to the new owners and they're fine with it. They love to see it up.
Fantastic.
Yes, so, because they do have, I don't have to speak to the owners, they actually have in their lease the ability to do minor cosmetic changes on the outside, so he loved.
Okay,
Then if you looked across the street at the parking lot where that walk is.
Yep.
That's where we would put the Ottawa House and the creamery in a 2-panel installation, meaning 3 posts. That would have to be done later on. If we're in the summertime, obviously.
yes,
And that would be right by the rock where the grassed area is. I'm sure you can get posts into the ground there.
Okay.
Then if you walked a little further down the street over at the Rusty Lantern, on the side where the Discover Eganville is, there will be a panel there of the harness shop and the pre-tag shoe repair.
beauty.
And yes, I got permission at the artisan market to get Sherry Ann to let me put one up there.
Excellent work.
Then if you went over the hill, or over the bridge.
Okay.
This bakery, the Northern Credit Unit was where that was located. I got confirmation this morning from their head office to put it on the entrance, on the outside, just as you go into the building, that blank space there, it would be mounted there.
Wow.
Then as you cross the street,
I've got goosebumps.
okay, we're going a little further. And if you look at the parking lot there, the empty parking lot where the flower planters are.
Yep.
If we could move the center one, we could fit in 2. We could put in Rooney's or Central Hotel, and it would be a 2-panel installation and the CPR. And then if you walk a little further down the street to Renke, to the Home Hardware, have permission to put Renke's hardware store on the side there. At first, I hadn't considered that because that side of the building is was a little iffy, but with the refurbishment of that door, it's going to be nice. So, and then if you walk up, because that's the original door.
You did a lovely job of it too.
And then I thought, okay, so now we can put one up. It looks okay. And if you trotted a little further down on Water Street to the fishing dock is where we'd be putting the panel for the alligator boat.
Okay.
Then if you go back up on Highway 41, as you head up on the 41, on your left-hand side, breast across your office building is where we put a 2-panel installation just before that new Eganville Legion sign there.
Okay.
Okay, you see where I am?
On the hill,
On the hill.
okay?
That would have been the town hall and the William George store. We can just mount them together. Looking across the street, across where Papa Ron's is. So Papa Ron's is here. And there's that green building in the corner. And then
The
there's that little-
professional building, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and then there's that other little spot up there. Where it kind of curves, I would put a three-panel installation consisting of the Sin and Howard building, which is the first brick building in Eganville, a Lacey's store, and the Foy Hotel. All right,
Okay.
and popping along the CN station around the corner. I talked to Karen who lives there and she would be happy to have us put it up there. It would be
That's a
two-
fantastic location.
In fact, if you, she's really redone the house or the station to as many original features of the train station as you can imagine. It's amazing. Then we would go on up to the CFS Hoymont to be mounted on the existing sign. The problem is it's 64 inches wide. We need two 64-inch pieces of say 1x4 painted white because the other posts are white. And then you could mount the panel up there. While I was there, I also noted that the on the sign itself, by the way, somebody put the station crest. And if any, you know the station crest? I believe for a silent center. I have a picture of it here somewhere.
I was just there and I didn't even notice.
And you also notice the black edging is also.
Yes, it's coming, it was framed.
So I don't
Okay,
know,
we Laurel, we can make note of those two things for the flame out sign.
I don't know if you'll be able to get another crest. One of the options is, I could probably paint one of them, some of that paneling that I use. And just screw it onto the sign rather than trying to find it.
Food for thought anyway.
Food for thought, and that's the crest. The Silent Sentry was the model of that station.
I wonder if it fell off.
I don't know.
Like, is it in the snow?
No,
It's not, okay.
no, it's been gone for a while.
Okay.
All right, and the last one is the lime kiln. That would be mounted on a 2-panel, a 2-post panel out by Aubrey Road where it was located. Okay. And if we're just, as a side note, if we're coming down Fourth Street Road, there's on Fourth Street. I don't know who did the new signs, but maybe we could just, that one is on Fourth Street Road. And that.
Kind of paid to have you drive around, didn't it?
I've been driving around for a long time. Is
That's a county sign.
that a county
They
sign?
make-
Is that
I
ours?
know what they make them.
I'm not sure, but I'll.
Okay.
Jason, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you got that? Okay,
I know what
okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
I'm just.
Yeah,
gonna-
where are you at for fundraising and payment for all the posts and the,
Excuse me, the sun is right on.
For the,
to install them?
oh, that was the, I know we had raised over $2,000 at the event that we did with off the grid productions. So I'm not sure how I don't think they're anything past that. But what I was trying to do is trying to reduce the cost by getting permission from building owners to on the buildings rather than have to do
Yeah.
posts. So I think I've got what, five or whatever, right?
It's fantastic. Good work on getting permission.
And so that's about it. So,
And I think that the Eganville and Area Community Development Group were interested, and we were also going to ask Rotary if you needed help with posts. So,
yes.
but this is great work. Any chance that some of these could be put up in the winter, like now? Or we,
Sort of depends on when you're drilling into it. I don't
I
know.
know.
I don't think I want to go into Bricker and
Brent, what do you think? Can you drill into brick at this time of year, or is that a bad idea?
Yeah, you can go through anything.
yeah,
Cause you don't have to dig holes in the ground.
no.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're gonna be able to put the log cabin one up.
The only, so for the one on the corner of Papa Ron's, it was a 3-panel installation. Where
Yeah.
exactly is that one?
Okay.
Are you talking about where the hill is?
Yeah, that hill right there.
So then we have a township bench that's just down from it. Could you not be recessed into the hill behind the bench? And then there's less
I'm not quite sure.
Oh, you're talking about sight lines coming around that
Yeah,
corner.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That's the only thing, that's all I was thinking. So when you're looking at, so Papa Ron,
Yeah.
like, so you're looking at where you are, so Papa Ron's is here.
Yeah.
Your green building's right here, there's the gray 5 unit that's
Yeah.
right there, you have the hill that's right
Yeah.
here. Township owns the bench, there's a bench that's recessed in that hill there.
Oh,
So
could be.
that's the only reason I say that is then you only have one spot, you probably mount it a lot easier. I would think, so that's all I was
Oh, I
thinking,
know,
and
is
people
that-
walk past there all the time.
Yeah, it's just that, like I said, anywhere there, those three locations are the locations of those three buildings.
Mhm.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
wherever it can fit in there, that's all I wanted in there
Mhm.
somewhere.
Have you given any thought to putting a sign up along Oxford Road, say across from the fishing dock? Nobody today would believe there's a railroad track there at one time. And the
I did
railroad
the
track
CPR
went to a cattle
station.
pen, so,
And do the CPR station, right?
yeah, went by the station and went out.
Yeah.
Out,
And also went up John Street.
yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean, you just look at that embankment today, nobody believed there's ever a railroad track along, that was just the thought.
These are the ones that Laurel's already done. I think if we want to add to them,
Exactly,
that's a
yeah.
conversation for another day. I think this
That's
is
the
great
one
work.
that we're done under the museum for that, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah,
Okay, Get these done
And-
first.
One for Eganville, it's 6 additional, there's 18 in addition to the 12 that were originally on the things.
fantastic. Good work getting permission, especially from the bank.
Well, no, it's not, for the Northern.
Northern
They
Credit,
were
yeah,
actually, they were thrilled,
so good.
so that's Northern Credit.
That's wonderful.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks, Laurel.
I just.
Oh.
May I ask one?
Annette, yeah, go ahead.
Just for number one, where you're talking about mount on the Rio side of the log cabin, so that log cabin you're talking about is the tourist.
yes,
Right?
but yeah, on this side, the real side.
Yeah, because you have your like
The quilt.
quilt that's
On the
on
other
the,
side.
on the
one
place side of
on the
it.
other side, but then I also see there's an illustrated map mounted at the tourist center.
Yeah, that's the big one to do, that will be mounted, that's the big one Genevieve did.
Okay, but I'm looking at the tourist booth and
Okay, no, it's not on the tourist booth.
Okay, it's gonna
It's
go
somewhere
beside
else.
us.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. That's
So that
all.
if you're parking, you park there.
Yeah.
But you could put your location for that would probably be almost towards your picnic bench side.
Yeah.
anyways.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Sounds good. Thanks,
Laurel.
Laurel.
No,
Laura, yes,
Tracy, did you want to say? Oh, she's just
I
saying
just said
goodbye.
thank you.
okay. I've met almost every business owner in Eganville now. Oh, sure.
She's like community outreach.
Yeah.
That's great. These are really good locations too.
Thanks.
You really make-
Oh, and Laurel, thanks for bringing our attention to the point outside in the Eganville sign. Very helpful when residents let us know.
When you enter Cornish Valley Township, your entrance points, like coming up Fourth Street Road, especially if they're coming from Line Hill, it would be nice to have like a nice sign
Yeah,
rather than.
Sounds good.
and we can't be everywhere, so if we don't, if one of us doesn't notice, it's great. That's when somebody brings it to us.
All right.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Laurel.
Bye, Tracy.
Okay. So then, so Daryl's gonna be coming in at 2:30, everyone, just so we can accommodate John. So then Annette's actually gonna do her report in the 1:45 time slot. So Annette, we will turn this over to you.
Thank you. My phone.
There's no.
Okay. So I did, as both councils aware, file the accessibility and as well as the Municipal Freedom and Protection of Privacy Act report. So both of those have been filed with the ministry. We didn't have any freedom of information or personal privacy concerns this year, so that was an easy one. And accessibility, you know, we had a desk audit, I think, done, I think that was last year, where they already audited all of our policies and all of our things. So it was really just our annual report to be able to sort of tick the boxes and say, yes, we're doing all of the things that we are supposed to be doing as far as accessibility. There's always more you can do, but we're doing what we can. Also, we had a meeting on December 5th, so I met with Jason and Daryl and Paul Wren and hosted Biz, because we're working as part of our asset management plan to define these assets. They're sort of in our network, but it also has to do with our radios. It also has to do with our communications. So, you know, there's stuff above the water tower. There's a tower in Point Mount. There's one here. And so, you know, we're trying to link all of those things and sort of know what all do we have, there's SCADA with the water, what all do we have, what all talks to what? Where is it connected, how is it connected, and that kind of thing. So it's something that there's a knowledge of it out there right now with the individuals we have, but we don't, it's not on paper anywhere. So, you know, everything's getting older. At some point, we're gonna have to look at replacing things, but I think it's best to sort of know before you get into that, what talks to what and what needs to be replaced and what needs to be aligned with, you know, if this needs to talk to that and we changed this, but now it can't talk to that and we have to now spend more money to replace this. That could be. an
You
issue
can
down
make
the line.
three of them make work one,
Yes, yes, so we're,
take all three and just make use one.
yeah, so that's a gap, so we're working on getting that done. And the strat plan is, you know, we did that with council, so that went very, very well. And I'll bring forward a final report for that moving
That was-
forward.
Very well done. Thank you so much for organizing it. I think all of us got a lot out of it, but I think our department heads did as well.
Mhm.
I think it was really important for all of us to be around the table and be able to sort of have an organic discussion about the future of the township. So
Yeah.
thanks, Annette.
For sure, yep, I'll meet with the senior leadership team in January and we'll figure out how we're gonna support those priorities and those objectives.
Mhm.
And then a final report coming forward in February with all of those things, and I think you'll see it all the way through, like as we get into budget, as we get into the monthly reports now, you'll sort of see, here's the objectives, the priorities, the initiatives, and
Yep.
here's how we're supporting that. So I thought that was great. The health and safety as well, that you'll see that policy has to be reapproved every year, so that'll be coming to council this evening. We didn't make any changes in 2023, so there's no changes to it. It's the same as the one that was passed in 2022. And as well, we are holding interviews this week for the water and sewer department back, a couple of years ago now, when we had our first water quality audit that I was participating in, they did state that we were understaffed. That was one of their main concerns.
Mhm.
And so working with Daryl, we've narrowed it down to a few different candidates out of the applicants, and we'll do interviews and hopefully give some more support to that department that is a little bit struggling at the moment.
That's perfect.
Excellent.
We also, so according to this, we had received 7 comments. We've now received 10 comments that have come in on the study and the report. And I won't comment any further on that now because I know that's been added under correspondence. I do have a couple of comments to make at that point on the request for extension. The revised calendar for 2024 meetings, so that is in your package. I only made the 2 changes that were requested to move the October and the August meetings to a Wednesday. So they'll be Wednesday. But other than that, they're all as they have always been. So we'll be posting that on the website and it'll be available, but it's in the
Are you
package.
gonna send out meeting requests or should we just put it in our calendars?
I can, if you would
It's up
like,
to
if
you.
you want me to send out invites for every single one, yeah, I have no issue there. I can do that.
Totally up to you.
Yep.
It's pretty funny when you get the ones from the county,
Yeah,
cause you get like 30,
yes,
you know?
yeah, well, that's what'll happen.
Yeah,
So as well, so Bell, as you know, is installing fiber optic cable. So they're installing it right from Renfrew up to Barry's Bay. And so a lot of Edenville, I think Pineford is on the list. There's different spaces that around the community that are getting fiber optic. And then in between those spaces, they are looking at the different towers and stuff like that. Not necessarily always Bell. I know NRTCO has done some fiber, and Rogers is also doing towers, and there may be other communication companies that are doing it. So in doing that, I did have a call from the subcontractor that's working for Bell to have this installed. And what they needed from us was a 2 to 3 acre parcel of land to store their vehicles, and things like that while they're working in this area, which could be up to 2 years.
Mhm.
And so I had a conversation with Jason and asked him if Spring Creek had the ability to host them. And then, proceeded to sort of look up rentals for vacant storage land and things like that. The only places I could find that really was Ottawa and Toronto. So, I mean, those fees weren't quite accurate. So I tried to come up with a fee schedule that would work. So they have accepted our offer, pending council's approval, of course, for $1,000 per month. starting possibly in January, so maybe following that for a couple of years to use some of our space on the land there at Spring Creek. So if committee is in agreement and is willing to give direction to staff, we'll go ahead and continue to negotiate a formal agreement for that and accept those dollars. And while they're here working, they're also going to host a local job fair. They need 15 to 28 people, local people, just to be working on this project. So we would like to host that here as well at the Eagles Nest. We don't have all the details on that yet, but I think that's also a great initiative because we're right in the center of all the work that they're doing. So I think it'd be great if we could work with them and get some local jobs and rent some property that is not really, it's being used, but not to its full extent at this moment.
You're good? Okay, good. But honestly, the local employment was almost as exciting to me as the rental. I mean, I think that it couldn't have come at a better time, so I'm really looking forward to that job fair.
Okay, so no issues with us going ahead and negotiating the
makes-
agreement. Of course, we'll come back to council.
Tracy, you're good.
Okay, perfect. So the AMO conference is coming up in August. It's gonna be in Ottawa again. So hotels, they open and they close. The registration is not usually an issue. You can get into the conference. It's getting a hotel nearby to stay. So it's opening on January the 9th, and we don't have another meeting until after that. So I just sort of put out the call to council to see who was interested in me booking hotels for them for that period of time. So I know Tracy, you said you were interested. Yeah,
I'll go with the county to save us some budget money.
okay. You're with the
Also,
county.
Roma pays for one day,
For the
one night
conference.
hotel and
Yeah.
one day of the conference.
Okay. Of AMO or Roma?
They pay for all of Roma.
Okay, oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I know, and John had said he might be interested, but he might only go down for a day, so I'll have a conversation with him because he's not here offline. And if he does want a hotel for just one night, or if he wants it for the 3 nights, then, I mean, that will still come forward at budget, but I'll have to have them booked before then.
I know.
So-
Do you want to go? You're good?
No, I'm
Right.
good.
Okay,
But yeah, I just talked to John
Okay,
today.
Okay,
He'll
so-
be here, so.
okay,
so, yeah, at most it's just 3, you and John and Tracy.
okay.
I beat that to death 10 years ago. We're trying to improve healthcare.
Well, being part of the Roma board, I'm obligated to go, but thankfully Roma pays for it, so.
And in this instance, the county, so we got, it's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Good, okay.
I'm a cheap date.
Okay, so on to, unless there's any questions on my report, I'm gonna move on to Sarah's.
Nope, go ahead.
So under Sarah's report, the one thing that I really did want to, there's 2 things that I wanted to point out. One is the welcome guides. So she's gonna
Yep.
provide an update with that in the new year. So she has been working on some of the comments she received. The bridge banner. So as you can see, there is a cost there's quite a large cost if we want to create the banners ourselves. They're, between $2,000 and $4,000 per banner, and that's one-sided. So, I don't know if we want to just, if groups have banners and want to spend that type of money to make a banner. I don't know if we want to get into spending $4,000 or $5,000 per banner, but the cost to put them up or take them down, it's $175 an hour. So we
And
try
flagging.
to coordinate it, and flagging.
Okay.
So I don't know if what committee wants to direct staff to do, whether we bring this back at budget or whether you want to recommend that we bring it back at budget.
I would like to put a pin in this and see where we land at budget. It would be lovely to have one township one, but I think that it is a lot of money.
Mhm.
And so I think it's a budget item. Yes?
Okay. Okay,
Well, I think my opinion on it is that, so like we've kind of outlined like through Sarah's report as well, so we can align our electronic sign to correspond with what we're thinking as well.
Mhm.
So that's the thing, just promote that as well, but yeah, it's bring it back at budget.
okay, and we can discuss whether.
Just as a side,
Okay.
Yeah, just as a
Yeah.
side gig, to be
Yeah.
honest, so.
Sure,
I think the 2024 budget's going to be very difficult, so.
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
It's Tracy here. I think there's other ways we could talk about advertising than just banners as a cheaper alternatives.
You're the voice over my shoulder, Tracy.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
So.
Fireworks.
Yeah, that's the next thing that I did. So I wanted to just talk about the banners and I wanted to talk about the fireworks because everything is getting booked for Canada. I know it seems like a long ways away, but everything is getting booked between bouncy castles. Now, can we go ahead with the bouncy castles because we've done it every single year. You know, it's between $1,000 and $2,000 and it's always been done. But the fireworks are a bigger expenditure. And so, basically coming to the council to say, do you want us to go ahead and book? Now, we have applied for the grant.
Mhm.
You know, so some of this may be covered, but we're not gonna hear about that until it's too late. So do you want us to go ahead and book them, for this year or not?
So I had a couple of questions on
Yep.
this. Number one, the product line item is basically what we spend through the township anyway.
Yep.
It's the labor.
Yep.
And the labor is $2,500. So, the grant would pay for the labor, which would be
Yep.
nice. But my other question was going to be to the fire chief.
Mhm.
Do the firefighters not want to do this anymore? And the challenge with that is under the licensing to do the shoot, you have to do so many, you know, in a year or in a couple of years timeframe. So if they're not interested in remaining licensed, then this is going to be a budgetary consideration going forward. So I just wasn't sure.
Yes, so I think the challenge there is finding enough volunteers who are willing to come out for the day. It's a long day. They start at about 8 o'clock in the morning, varying things like that. So the discussion that was had with the department was, you know what, if the township was willing to invest some money in a trailer, like, so this individual, like literally pulls in with a trailer, opens it up and they're ready to go. So the conversation that was had with the department is if the township was willing to invest, and I don't know what it would cost to build this trailer. I don't know if it's 5,000, 10,000. I don't have that information for you. But if we wanted to budget that to have it done, then the firefighters said it's not there. They will keep up with their licenses and they have no issue because they're not spending 12 hours. Like they're there from 8 o'clock. It's more than 12 hours. They're there from 8 o'clock in the morning till after the fireworks are done. Then that all has to be cleaned up. Jason's road department is also involved, you know what I mean, with backhoes and gravel. And so the question is, as you know, all of our departments are, I shouldn't say all of them, admin is struggling less so, but a lot of our departments are struggling with staff. There are people off vacation, people off sick, you know, people changing jobs all the time. So you know, it's a struggle to keep up with everything that we're doing. And so, you know, and the fire department especially, you know, we have room for 40, we've got 20. So all of these things sort of play into how much we can keep up with it. So that was what they said was if we were willing to invest funds to have that done, they're willing to keep it up, they'd like to keep doing it. But if they were going to continue to have to put in that long day, and a lot of work in the heat, and so on, to find enough firefighters to get it done is becoming a real challenge.
And God forbid if there's a fire that.
And if there is a fire, then
We're in deep trouble.
we're canceling fireworks.
And they do have to be babysat and they can't get wet. And it is very weather dependent where I've heard from other townships with these companies that just pull in and shoot and leave. If it rains at the time, it's bad, but during the day is when our firefighters are out there digging, you know,
Leveling the gravel and
5 foot deep holes.
With this, we could call it on a moment, like we could be 9 o'clock and go, it's pouring rain outside, we can't do them. Right now, we have to call it a day or two ahead of time
Yeah.
because they're not even gonna get them buried in the ground. So there's benefits, there's cost.
Are there any other townships that we could partner with that don't do fireworks?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that, to reach out, whether it's Norfolk and Wilberforce or,
Addison
Addison
Bromley
Bromley.
perhaps?
either of them, I think Norfolk and Wilberforce does them, but I think they do them, it might be a recreation group, like it might not be the township themselves.
Okay,
So they may not be interested in competing with their own recreation
I don't know
association.
what Killow Higgity Richards does. I think maybe they contracted out.
They
They
do,
do.
they
Yeah.
do.
they do.
So most do now. not all. So I guess my question is, do you want me to go ahead and approve this invoice? Because if we don't, we're gonna get to a point where
Well, you won't find anyone.
we won't find any. So if we approve it, hopefully more of it will be covered by the grant.
Well, I would probably say, I would just say, like, my opinion is we should approve it because we've had logistical errors last probably 3 years now.
Mhm.
And then our focus, rather than focus on the firework, can be focused on the recruitment end, because it is difficult to find people, so I'd rather put our priorities to making sure we have enough bodies to fill the bag, and then that's about it.
The thing was, when I opened up this invoice, seeing the product line and knowing exactly what we spend on them every year. I think we're maybe $200 difference,
Yes.
which
yes,
is,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
incredible.
because the grant always covers about 5,800, and then we
No,
just top it up.
25.
around 25.
Yeah, it covers,
Yeah.
yeah, around $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think. Yeah, two things, I agree with you, we can talk to Daryl about recruitment, and I know that they do have a big recruitment drive on social media right now. With
Well,
all
But
the,
like, I guess how I looked at it is like July 1st, the fire department always does something at the arena or anything.
Oh, yes, they'll
And
still
that's,
be there
well,
volunteering.
and
Yes.
that's the thing, so like, you're gonna have more
No.
people there, the kids are gonna like it more, people are gonna like it even more,
Mhm.
and then our departments are out in the public, I guess, is the best way. to put
and
it.
it is grueling work.
Oh, it is, I always see Jason's pile goes there once
Yeah.
a year, we'll just have to make sure we have enough gravel in that parking lot now, we actually bring it in once a year. So it gets utilized a lot, so. So in my opinion, I would say that we should move forward.
But I would also like it if we could give staff direction to perhaps reach out to our neighbors. And see if they got a Fed grant,
Mhm.
would they like to contribute? We can do it as 2 townships, we could do it as 3 townships.
Mhm.
But if you don't mind,
No,
Tracy,
no,
do you have any thoughts on this?
No,
Woman, a few words today. Are you okay with
I'm
that?
okay with that.
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
yeah.
yeah,
I appreciate that, thank you. We have the curling club announcement, the Trillium announcement tomorrow at the curling club.
very nice.
2 o'clock, so that'll be
At 2 o'clock?
at 2
Yeah.
o'clock tomorrow. at
I
the
thought it
curling
was
club.
8 o'clock.
Yeah,
2 o'clock?
2 p.m. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's in between their ice times. That's when they actually have the equipment out, putting little pebbles on the ice and
I'm gonna try it.
for me as well, you know.
Well, we can do a team curling, I've never curled before, so.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
you'll use
Yeah.
muscles.
We can do
that.
a team curling match. That's fine. See who's the highest score, it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
This
I
was our-
heard before I had all these mechanical parts.
Mhm.
How
This is
many
your
do you
third-
need for a team?
And that this is your third attempt?
Yeah, that we got the funding. So
Yeah.
we don't give up.
It's like a little mini push Zamboni. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the other one was, you know, I don't know that it was very old. That's
yes,
all I can say. I don't know how old. Well,
I'm looking forward to it.
mhm.
Can you shout sweet?
I literally curled once and the next day I swore I would never do it again. And I was taking Gerald Priestley's name in vain. I'm not gonna lie. I just, every muscle and bone in my body, it was like I had been in a car wreck.
I curled a lot in my younger years on the police force, with competitions and whatnot, but the lawyers and,
So how many do you need for a team?
4,
Yeah,
yeah,
you need 4
4.
at least.
I'll be the
Yeah, you
sweeper,
need 4.
I-
that's fine, I'll just nominate myself, yeah,
You don't sweep at home.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, construction, that's good. All right, now carry forward.
Okay, so then moving on to Erica's report. So I'll just point out that Anne McBain is continuing to come from the county of Renfrew to meet with residents. So I looked at the schedule. I didn't see anybody on there, but I know probably January 9th, not everybody's super excited to get in and talk about planning stuff, but she'll be here for the day. She works away on her county stuff. So she's here regardless. And then the other thing is the flood hazard identification. So I know we had discussions about that mapping, so that's finalized, the report's in here. They've gone ahead and map it. I don't know that Angie's had time to upload the layer to the county, the GIS mapping, but she's all done, of course it is, because it's Angie. So, yeah, so those reports are there, and that is another level that's good, which ticks off another box for both asset management from the province's perspective, and also from the emergency management perspective. So that's 2 more boxes we ticked with the province.
Excellent work.
And compliance, so emergency management. So we held our exercise and we did our training and all the things we were supposed to do. And Erica filed our compliance report. And so a couple of things came back. One was, I think our bylaws said to approve as opposed to adopt our plan, and they didn't like that. So the bylaw is coming back this evening to be repassed. I believe that's the main change there. So it has to be repassed, and then she will submit and refile that with the emergency management. So the person who's reviewing it is new, and they are very strict that we're following all the rules, which we've done a lot of things, and actually they were a little bit concerned with our public outreach. So we did the 72-hour on the sign. We did some Facebook posts. We also posted in our newsletter and things like that. Now, we didn't take a picture of our sign when it was on the sign. So they would like us to do something in the tax bills, because they said, how do you know that the newsletter and how do you know that the Facebook post reached everybody? But they thought the sign probably reached everybody, but we didn't have a picture of it. Well, lucky for us, Google happened to take a picture of our office while that was on the 72 hour
way.
sign, and we used that photo. So just
That is random at its
Very
best.
but fantastic news. So we were able to send that in and they accepted it as evidence. So thank you, Google. And that's all that I have.
Good work.
Perfect. Any questions from council? Oh. Perfect. Thanks, Annette. Well, Jason, we'll move on to your report.
Here, before he does his report,
Yes, Jennifer.
yes, sir. Okay. I can't mix them up. So this is for you from council, and if you would kindly deliver this to your beautiful assistant, that would be okay. But you can open that if you want. Thank you very much. Because not all of council has seen them all. But open it. We like to watch the joy on the faces. Oh my God, I'd get to see him on Christmas morning. Dad, hurry up. I bet he saves Christmas wrapping.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Debbie. And there's another thing in there for you. Well, there are a few other things. No, that's for Tammy.
My reaction was the same, Jason.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
It was the great mug debate here a few weeks ago about people stealing other people's mugs. So we put a stop to it. So now they're all branded.
I told
Oh,
Connie
very
I'd gift
good.
her my mug. Just to be nice.
Thank you. All right, to start, we have filled the contract position with a young gentleman. He has had some experience with another township where he was a co-op student. So
He was on the sidewalk machine today.
That's what I was just gonna say. Okay.
yeah, so we've had him on the truck, we've had him on the sidewalk machine. Doing other various.
Just to be clear then, we stole him from another municipality, but he wasn't a full-time employee.
That's right.
Okay, so I don't have to hang my head at county.
No.
Okay.
We'll borrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
December 4th, was a big snowstorm
Mhm.
for the first one. The guys worked very hard to get everything cleaned up on a timely manner, and we were kind of short-staffed also, so made things a little tougher.
Yeah.
But everything worked out well. We did get our snow removed downtown, which helps when,
big job.
yes, for sure.
How did last night go into today?
Fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you guys are out and about early, so
That was
good.
it was really strange, slippery, like it was icy this morning.
Well, the thing is, there was so much water underneath because the
Mhm.
ground was still warm. As soon as you plowed it off, it looked like it was bare. And within 10 minutes, it just went straight to ice.
Really? Okay. Dangerous.
Yes.
The Cormac Hill, that's county
Yes.
that carries all the way up.
Yes.
Is that, what is that route considered? Would that be a priority? Like that hill? I was just curious how often.
What they'll
The
do,
answer for county,
No.
so what they
Jason
do
just
is,
drives all that.
they're starting probably around 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So what he'll do is the truck is housed at our garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes down the mountain to Cormac.
Yeah.
Goes back up, salts both ways, and then he'll plow it up off after when he comes back from Unionville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it is,
No,
plus
just-
they have their night shift on.
well, taking out my mailbox.
Yeah, but no, I was more curious because one of the more significant hills and a lot of our residents commute with it, right?
Yeah.
So,
You should see it.
Yeah.
perfect. Thanks.
So the Christmas wayside schedule. Sand Road, of course, closed on Monday, December 25th, and Monday, January 1st. Lake Clear and McGrath Road are open from 12 to 4 on Sunday, December 24th, and Sunday, December 31st. There'll be no curbside pickup on Tuesday, December 26th, but it will take place on Wednesday, the 27th.
Mhm.
The last Thursday, that Snowdrifters site will be open on Thursdays, is December 28th. So, I guess we should have put that on the agenda. I kind of forgot about that.
They carry it into next year.
Yeah.
See what's gonna go on, yeah.
Okay.
The uptake, based on your numbers, is the demand you think is gonna be there or? Because the last time I thought we looked at, it, there's only about 2 on
Yeah,
each day
that's-
given.
That's, yeah, it was good right off the bat.
Yeah.
But then as it kept going, it was down to maybe 1 or 2 per Thursday, so.
Okay. Yeah, we'll revisit that then. Please tell me we put an ad in the leader with all these dates.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll still get phone calls.
Well,
The last leader, I think, is tomorrow. Oh, this week. Tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's good. Thank you.
The office will be closed from the 22nd to the 1st. Dana will be back in office on the 2nd. We had the emergency management exercise. Both Dana and I participated in the exercise on the 22nd. Our file hold training, we will be participating in the near future. On the 14th, I attended the County of Renfrew's annual Public Works meeting. There was issues brought up with construction. We go over what the county plans to do for the year, depending on budget, what gets passed. There was also discussion on Bell, fiber optic, and the challenges that other townships are going through with the contractors that are coming through.
Mhm.
What they've found is a lot of the contractors are going through culverts
Yeah.
with their line boring,
Mhm.
and they don't find these out till at a later date, right? So then who's gonna pay for that? So.
Kind of ironic since they're the ones that started call before you dig. There is some irony there, but you'll keep us surprised if anything. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, now we've been doing locates all summer.
Okay.
So that, for the fiber, they're planning on going down certain roads with it, and, they want to stay so far off the shoulder of the road and, off the fence line, so hopefully it works out for both of us and see how it goes for them, because I don't want, they want to go on the shoulder of the road, and that just hampers when we do construction. So, we're trying to keep them back as far as we can.
So when they bore, how deep do they usually go?
It all depends, what structure.
Well, it's just because I know when you guys did Donegal this year, you guys had ditched a fair bit on that road, so I'm just thinking is. But the road's gonna be doing, so you know what your requirements are. I
Yeah.
just know on that specific one, we ditched a fair bit on that,
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we don't, not digging them out in the next year or two,
No.
so. Sounds good.
Yeah, no, that's right. And also, so the infrastructure Ontario providing, so they, accelerated high-speed internet program, which I just enlightened you on.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else, Jason?
That's it.
Any-
I had two things before you go.
Yeah.
We've got two asks in our correspondence. One from Multi-Stream about some property on Fourth Shoot, and one from Tom Chavitz in Point Out. Did you have any issues with either of those?
No.
Okay.
We've gone through, because there is a drain in Foymount that runs behind that property.
Yes,
There was a chunk of property previously sold off.
to the neighbor?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, so, I was up and had a look last spring, with the neighbor. I believe it was that lady that owns the property beside Tom. There is a bit of a retaining wall there. So there, it's getting old and it's gonna need some work, but it's not really up to us if it's on their property, right?
Okay.
But there is an easement through there.
and Fourth Shoot you're okay with as well? All right, thank you.
Got a minute, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Silver Lake Road yesterday and tomorrow. As you know, that little piece of Silver Lake Road that isn't hard surface is the Shower Road. Well, you know how washboardy it gets. I had a complaint, and yes, it was terribly washboardy, and complainant was upset because she had to drive a school bus over it 8 times a day, and as you know, we went back years ago. And it wasn't worthwhile having the paving equipment there for just that little bit. Now we're going to, next year, we're going to have the paving equipment on Zata Road. Could we have that little 1.5 or 2 kilometers paved to Shower Road? I don't think there are any culverts in it. There may be the ditch between the bit and,
Ditching for sure, Marv. We did, replace some culverts already on it.
okay,
Now there is one section there that we would have to dig out because it gets really bad frosty.
mhm.
But other than that, and then try and do something with the intersection at Silver, or at the Shower.
Yeah, because it, well, you know, we've had everything from dust complaints to, and it was really washboardy. I can see how she was upset having to go over that 8 times a day. And I can go back to the reason we didn't get the Shower Road initially is we ran out of money about 15 years ago or whatever,
Yes.
when we did it.
Is washboardy the technical term?
Eh? We're gonna have the paving equipment on Zata Road.
Yeah.
You can lock it up, the roller and the spreader, you don't have to truck it or anything, just,
Something for consideration at budget.
Anything else for Jason? Perfect. Jason, have yourself a Merry Christmas.
all the bad.
Thank you very much.
Hope for no snowfall, get the cruise out.
He just cursed you.
Well, I was gonna
Jason.
say, I wish you for good weather, but I would go to Merv's extent, because I know that same feeling, so.
Yeah, hopefully everything goes good. We get some time off.
Yes,
We really,
well-deserved time off.
yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Perfect, thanks, Jason.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah,
Merry
remember
Christmas.
Dana's gift.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
forget Dana's.
Thank you very much. everyone.
Thanks.
Take care.
Okay.
They're completely out of order today.
No, I see Daryl.
Oh, Daryl's here as well. Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Will Wagner. Is he here?
Oh, I assume so. He's next up. Yeah,
Daryl Birch is here.
yeah, he'll be at 2:30.
And Daryl Wagner is here too?
I don't know. Is he
I don't think
recording?
Daryl
too?
Wagner's here.
Oh, he's not. He's,
Oh, I don't think so.
you know what, Kevin, you can just do your report. I'm in a great mood today. Hop on.
I don't believe Daryl.
For you from council.
Because there's
Oh, sorry.
a luncheon and unfortunately it conflicted with a meeting or
There wasn't.
now I can't remember if it's fire chiefs or CBOs. Anyway, in Milno today, so he won't be here. If you have any questions, I'll take them forward.
No, his is quite.
Whatever.
I actually had two,
I might have the
and
answers.
one of them was about recruitment and retention, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
cause there's an email
Okay.
blast. Let's just do Kevin or
Yeah.
Daryl quickly then. I had several questions about Next Gen 911.
Yeah.
if he could find some more information on that for the new year. I still don't understand what the idea was years ago and where they're landing now, because that letter from the Ontario Fire Marshal didn't have any meat on the bones. So it's like he wrote it on the back of a napkin.
So what I know from Daryl, from my discussions with him, is that it's basically more information to be able to flow through the call center
Mhm.
out to the firefighters. So it's more current technology. So whether it's pictures, street maps, things like that, that the firefighters that are going to the scene are going to now be able to see. So it's not, you're not just getting an address, maybe you're getting a map, maybe you've got a little bit of this, but you're actually looking at the front of the house, you're actually looking at, so they'll be able to send pictures and much more information to the firefighters before they even arrive on the scene.
Okay, I'd like to know how they're planning to do that from the Ontario Fire Marshal, because again, there was no meat on the bones in that piece of correspondence. And I understood that it was supposed to be that they could pinpoint where you were if you were using your cell phone. And I know a lot of people have kept their landline, because at this time, if you don't add the information to your phone, 911 doesn't necessarily know where you are. So I think that if that was the original intent, why is it taken so long? And again, the fire marshal hasn't given us any reasoning for Next Gen 911, and we've been waiting for it for better than 3 years.
Yeah.
So
And
that,
my discussion with Daryl on that specific issue is that, yes, that was the intention. They still want to get there. They're not there. This is not going to get us there. Like, it's going to get us a step closer to there, but it's not going to get us there to pinpoint the cell as you're taught, as you're saying.
so it's going to be next Gen
Yes.
911. Okay.
Yes. But I will.
It will be the
ask-
sequel to
Yeah.
the sequel.
Yeah,
All right.
but I will ask for more info, more specific info.
And did you see the AMO blast?
Mhm.
There's a survey about recruitment and retention that I think we should send to Daryl, and if you don't have it handy, I have it
Mhm.
as well.
Yep.
I thought it was ironic that we were talking about all this legislation that Daryl has to follow and the difficulty in recruitment and retention. And then they put out this blast that the fire marshal wants this survey completed about recruitment and retention. So I think that might be something for the Roma conference.
Yeah, no, I
You
definitely
wanna-
think we should fill it out for sure. So
Yeah.
I'll make sure, I think he's aware of it, but I'll make sure he is.
Okay, but I'm not sure that, speaking to the soul gen in the hallway is such a bad idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had for Daryl, but I thought those were two very timely things, and we only have one more meeting before the Roma convention, so.
Sounds good. Perfect.
Any other
I
questions?
don't have anything specific. Sounds good. Kevin, welcome to the table again. Perfect.
Open your present, Kevin.
Thank you.
That's how I roll.
Don't
Did
pull
you
out
hear that Lori and I got our haircut
I
together?
did.
Don't pull out the whiskey, the press mic.
Okay. I'll save that then.
That's not whiskey, he's kidding. That box is not. Way to go, Merv.
Thank you.
Turn it around.
Nice.
They're all personalized.
Ours have end dates, Kevin. So
Yes, ours have-
I'm actually, I'm pre-fired.
Eternal counsel on
Yeah.
earth. Everybody's questioning me now.
That's good.
That's for Meg.
That's for me. Okay.
It's not for you.
Not for
We
me.
sent a little treat home for the ladies. Sorry, we sent a little treat home.
Perfect.
That's to fill her up and relax.
Oh. Well, sir, now.
Yeah. So nobody can steal your
I'll be able to
mug.
hang on to that.
It's the administrative staff you have to watch for, right?
Yeah,
They're the
probably
mug
so.
grabbers.
So, well, thank you. All comes in handy too.
Depending on whether you're using it for coffee or water or whatever, not whiskey.
Oh, no. Is that labeled?
Maybe a child's person Christmas Eve.
That's true. Thank you for that.
No, thank you.
My report's pretty straightforward for the month of December. We've had lots of activity, at the rink. As you can see, the Christmas parties, well attended, for neighboring, townships and other venues. Our skating, public skating and, our, parent and tots senior skate numbers are really good. Senior skate or the public skating the other day was 75 on Sunday.
Wow.
So it's very big, very big.
Don't let me leave this office without paying. The township's gonna send me to collections.
And we had hosted the figure skating this past weekend and a real big turnout on Sunday, so well attended. I'm sure the skating, probably the figure skating group is very happy with the attendance. Our first hockey tournament was January 15th. It's a school tournament. The public schools rent lots of additional days for public ski, like for their own school skating during the week. So it's some weeks it's twice a week, so it's lots of filling in lots of blanks. I see the dates. The arena's going to close the 24th, 25th, and 26th, and the 31st, and the 1st. Centennial Eagles Nest, other events through over the Christmas holidays. They're renting the ice, plus they're going upstairs and doing a potluck or family events. So it's going. Centennial Park, waiting for Mother Nature. We got a little taste last night, but we'll see what goes on.
Every year.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be like up and down for the.
Yeah, and like look at it right now, like until January, I don't know. Like it's gonna be one of those things.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is. So. The beaver tails, donated to the food bank. The tree lighting, that seems like a long time ago.
I just like your photo of you with the.
Well,
It is growing every year.
well, someone asked me and I said, well, actually, we have two pictures when we planted it
Yeah,
and the actual. So I said, okay, I can do that.
From an old Christmas tree grower, Colorado blue spruce grow very slow.
but it's funny because somebody asked me how much it's grown and I said, I think about a foot. And then I asked you and I was within an inch.
Yeah.
Did I win a prize?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Volunteer Cup has reached out to us to help with them assist putting the banner up. We have the banner now, and now it's just a matter of getting the right date. So we have lots of help to do it. So I possibly this week, but I'm not making any commitments on that. Maybe next week, but later on. So anyways, other than that, that's the end of my report. Any questions?
Oh,
Good.
Run.
have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good Christmas.
It really was a pleasure getting my hair done with Rory.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Mrs. Barr, go ahead.
I thought you might forget it.
Nope.
Okay, the November balance sheet and the original budget reports were in your package. On November 23rd, I attended a virtual AMCTO Zone 6 meeting along with the CAO. On December 11th, we also attended the Renfrew County Clerks and Treasurers meeting in Pembroke. And on December the 14th, we attended the Eastern Region Treasurers Forum meeting. That was a very good meeting. The township has received notice of our 2024 OSIF funding. It is also down about 1.99%. So we'll be getting $576,954 next year.
And I will tell you that Yak phoned all the mayors to let us know. He was so excited that this fund is continued. I didn't have the heart to tell him that it had actually gone down a little bit. Yeah. It is, you know, nobody understands the funding, the formula funding anyway, so, yeah.
So also included in your package was our report card from 2022.
Can I do my rant before you go on?
Sure.
Okay, so the FIRs are always at least a year behind, which is sort of frustrating when you're getting this report card, but it isn't timely, and we're not sure if it's accurate now anyway. But I will say it's very good that the highest risk we had was moderate and a
Yes.
lot of lows.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So good
Yes.
job.
Because it says right on the report, is it like, that it was only really relevant at that moment in time. Says that in the fine print.
And every year we go through, and it used to be even worse. I think when I first started, it was more like 18 months behind. So
Like this was, I thought this was quick.
this was
Having it in
quick.
December of
Yes,
2023 based on 2022.
you are correct. It's still 12 months old.
So it's the municipal financial profile and the 2022 financial indicator review for the township from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. And it's comparing us with, it's comparing apples and oranges and bananas, but they try. Right.
It's comparing apples and elephants. But again, I don't think that it's a bad
No, I don't.
process.
No.
I just think that if it could be populated and reviewed and sent back in a timely manner, it would certainly help us with our, debt financing, etc. Anyway, it's been my rant for 14 years, so I'm not going to change now.
Some municipalities are just filing their 2022 now.
Really?
Yeah, I won't tell you who, but.
I was just gonna tell her that.
Were you?
Yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, no, but yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, that's not how we roll in Bonashir Valley.
No, so I felt really good in the forum. I was like,
Yeah, no, it's,
because I think we were the first.
We were the first of the first 15.
Oh, was
Yeah,
it
we-
15?
yeah,
I was taking credit for first.
We may have
sorry.
been first. We may have been first in that 15, but they only pinpoint the first 15.
but in that,
Is there a
so that
government grant if
congratulations
we're
letter.
one? Is there a government grant if we're number one?
Yeah.
No, there's no prize.
Incentivization, right? Like that'll be followed quick.
But the FIRs do reflect in our partnership funding and our OCIF, we think. No, definitely, definitely in the OMF. I'm not sure about OCIF.
Yes, now they do.
Oh, they do, okay, because that's been the greatest provincial mystery ever. But yes, okay, so there is a reason that they're important to file, and there's a reason that they're important to look this good.
Yes, so yes, our sustainability indicators from tax and control net debt, reserves as a percentage of municipal expenses, and our cash ratio risks are all low.
Mhm.
And then our flexibility indicators are all looking good too. They're all at top two, they were at moderate, and then the annual surplus, our risk for that is also low, which is good.
Yeah. That's counterintuitive as well.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Great work,
I always
though.
have to look at that one.
Great work. I was very impressed, even though they're 12 months old.
Any questions for Sandra? Perfect. Thanks, Sandra. Now, we'll bring in Daryl. I did see him.
I think he's in this office, which is why I keep saying.
Can I just grab some coffee?
All right, now we'll take like a 5-minute break there.
Okay.
Then that we can probably, take us back.
John, did you say?
Perfect.
Thank you.
The mayor put an extra good nod on it.
there.
God. I love how every one of them has picked out the candle first.
Perfect.
You know,
Thank you.
Candle's for the lady of the manor. Candle? No, not candle. No, that's not a candle. Okay. Oh.
You'll always know we think you're doing a good job until we give you hip waders for your birthday.
That's actually a very useful gift.
Yes, it would be.
I know, I'd be happy with that.
I know you would be. You gotta take the chocolate out.
Oh, God. Whoa. Nice.
Thank you. It was pretty, Daryl went out, or Daryl 2 hours. Open that one. I love getting pictures. I love people's faces. Yes, we got you a straw. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's from her.
Straw.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Open it right up though, so John can see them.
Daryl and Daryl.
Exactly.
Spanish.
I love it.
Full-time job, keeping that.
That's for your flu medication.
Yeah. Oh, I like that one, Papa.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay, so my report. There it is.
Yep.
Anybody got any questions?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, when I first opened it up, I was stunned.
Okay,
And then I realized there's reserves and then, yeah, and so we're at 4%.
yes,
Obviously, nobody's happy about that,
no,
right? I mean, especially right now in these times. But I will say, looking at some of our neighbors, this is quite literally a third
yes,
of some of our neighbors' increases, and across the eastern region. I will tell you, Daryl, that this issue has gone to Roma, AMO. I believe at this time it's also gone to Phonom. It's not only an immediate concern about our aging water and wastewater systems, but also the capacity issues and overbuilding.
right,
I don't know why, because I remember, as you do years ago, we did have a subsidy from the province, which sort of ebbed out, I believe, until about 2015, 2016.
yeah, something like that.
And at the end, it was only about 30,000, but even at this point, 30,000 would help.
Would be something.
So I think that the province needs to be aware that our water and wastewater users they're overburdened with these costs. So the warden, Peter Emo, and I wrote a briefing for the Roma board. The Roma board accepted it. So it is going to be one of our strategic priorities going forward. There are so many different ministries involved in your department.
Yes,
I completely understand some of the frustrations. But I think one of the things that we could lessen, once again, is the reporting burden. There's a lot of administration that you and your colleagues do to keep us in good stead with the province. But I think that it's an overburden. So that's sort of where I landed. Again, I'm not thrilled with the 4%, but I think that you did an excellent job with your budget. I'm sure that you and administration staff worked very hard on it. And I just want to let you know, I really appreciated it. And that's all I have.
okay. Well, yeah, we tried to keep it as minimum as possible. I mean, there's probably another $500,000 worth of work that, like,
could be done.
That's shovel-ready,
Like-
shovel-ready projects.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like in the plants itself, like,
right.
you know,
Not to mention infrastructure in the ground.
not for, yeah, right.
So the water and wastewater fund that just came out, is that solely for infrastructure? Or can that be used for the plant as well? Or do we consider the plant sort of infrastructure as well?
Well, we do, but we have a place for that.
I-
If
Yes.
it's
Yes,
Long
okay,
overdue.
I understand. And I actually spoke about it at Roma as well,
Yeah.
that we do have some severely aging infrastructure that needs to be replaced.
So there is a street that is in that need of an upgrading.
So you think you've got $500,000 just in shovel-ready projects?
I'm saying items that should be,
Okay,
like, are gonna need some attention in the next few years, for sure.
okay,
Don't want to let it all end up,
All at one time.
Yeah. understood.
let's keep nibbling away at it.
That's right. Do what you have to and if you can get by, you get by, but sometimes you can't take a chance on it. So,
Well, and I know that, I mean, that's a thankless department when it comes to having to raise rates. Because of things completely out of your control.
exactly. And it's, I don't like doing it all. I would have been more happy with 2%, but it is what it is. I mean, then eventually they'll get caught up and we'll be like the neighbors where they have to go 15%.
I was actually shocked in a few meetings that we had with increases right across Eastern Ontario. They're substantial increases.
Right. Well,
I'm still learning and have yet to learn more of what your department does. I'm looking forward to our walkthrough next spring. And,
you can come anytime.
well, that's true. But I do like hearing when you report often, it's, this needed repair, so we repaired the next one to it, you know,
Yes.
you're always kind of chipping away at the big picture. And
That's right,
I
yeah.
appreciate that.
It's the pipes in the ground that are gonna
Yeah.
cost the big dollars, because when you do one, you have to do the other, then we have to do the storm, and then we have possibly may have curb, and definitely have asphalt.
Yes, it certainly falls into other departments.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it becomes very, like, my portion might be 100,000, but when you put it all together, it's gonna be like,
Yeah.
probably 600.
Right.
So just to do a small section.
Well, and now we know that Daryl will accept visitors at any time,
Yeah,
unless he has a water main break.
sorry. So,
Well, looking forward to it.
okay.
Was everybody, I know nobody's happy with the budget, but was everybody satisfied?
Yes,
Yeah, straightforward, Daryl, so.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Daryl.
Merry Christmas, Daryl.
Merry Christmas.
have a good one.
Perfect, so that's all thanks, Daryl. That's all the reports. So we'll move on to correspondence A. Any comments on anything from your email? Okay. We have received a thank you from Google. Yeah, Annette.
Sorry, just one more thing about Amo while John's here.
Okay.
If I may, we talked about the hotel because it has to be booked in Ottawa by for the 9th, and to book it very quickly. Not that you still can't find somewhere to stay in Ottawa if you needed to, but it would be further away from the conference center. So I think Tracy, myself and the mayor will be booking a hotel for the conference. Do you want me to book you one as well?
No, I'll talk to you later. I'd like to find out how many days the conference, is it possible to go and attend the full day sort of as a
Yes.
first
Yeah,
experience?
it's a 3-day.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think the 3-day is just over 800, and then if you wanna go just one day at a time, it's 600 per day, so.
655.
Yeah, so it's,
Well, we'll talk more about that and
Okay,
we'll see if that
but you're
works
not
out.
worried. 'Cause-
I don't think I'd commit to the full 3 days or need a hotel, so.
Okay, then that's perfect, 'cause
Then
registration
you're
will be
easy,
open all the way
yeah.
to August.
You can get a day pass.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and you can, when, the nice thing is you can register for a day pass after the program comes out.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
can
yeah,
choose
pick
what
the day.
day
Yeah.
you would prefer to
That's
be
what
there.
I want them to do.
Yeah, and I would always recommend that you're there, whatever day the minister's forum is. Cause it's fun.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. So we received a thank you from Google. Then we received an additional thank you letter.
From Rob Norris and the Golden Lake property owners.
Exactly, so. Any comments on any of those? Pretty straightforward, so, perfect, so we'll move on to correspondence B. So we have had two directional ones, we had the request from Multi-Stream Power Corp. Jason had spoken towards it, so do anyone have any comments, questions?
My only thing was in the correspondence, it seemed to indicate that they wanted us to honor a previous bylaw, which was from I think the mid-90s. And I'm just wondering, do we want to go back to that from Grattan or use what our bylaw says now about selling land?
State current or next, what's your comments on that?
So, yeah, it does appear that there's a bylaw that was passed by Grattan Township. I don't know why I don't know why the transfers didn't take place. One of them did close off that railbed and get transferred to the adjacent property owner.
Mhm.
So I assume the consideration that was in the bylaw, that's what they paid for it, and that's what they got. I don't know why the others didn't get registered. So yeah, so it's up to council if you want to honor the previous bylaw with the consideration amount and say, yeah, we still want to one, do we want to declare it surplus? Two, do we want to transfer the land? And three, do we want to do it for the consideration that is in that bylaw? So that was the request that came forward from Multi-Stream.
What's the lot, what's the most recent precedence has been? What have you done in any other case that's been like this?
We haven't had one actually, not for something like this.
It's been residential.
And not going back to a previous bylaw of a township that doesn't exist anymore. So
Yeah.
that's, I think if it was within Bonashir Valley, it could be considered. I'm not sure about going back to the 90s. I have no issue with declaring the land surplus, but there were other requests.
Yeah, so I guess it's the consideration. So we haven't had a request to purchase land. Now, I know we have two on this one meeting, but we haven't had, other than closing a road allowance or a shoreline road allowance, we haven't had a request for land from Golden Valley Township. I don't know if this council has sold any other parcels of land. This is kind of different. It's the railway, so it's also like a road allowance, but it's not.
Yeah.
So we have a bylaw for shoreline road allowances and road allowances, and a process that we follow with a public meeting and all that sort of thing. But that is because it's a road allowance, so it could be providing access to somebody's property. This is an old rail bed, so it's not there for access purposes. So we don't have to have a public meeting and go through all those things. We don't it doesn't qualify under that, but yeah, so I guess that's sort of my question going forward. Are we going to accept the amount of consideration that's in the 1992, I think, bylaw? Or is there another process that you would declaring it surplus? That's fine. Is there another process that council wants? Do you want to use the road $5 per linear foot? Because then there may be a survey out there, or they may have to survey it. Or what would you like to do for the surplus land?
So there is sort of a precedent in many places in Renfrew County when the rail bed has been sold to farms, which is a commercial venture of a different type. So it's possible to do. It seems to me that the strip of land that was the railroad bed is not particularly useful to anyone but the person interested. It's like buying your shoreline allowance at the cottage.
Exactly.
That's interesting. So now my question is that if this involves negotiation, so if we were negotiating, we'd have to go into closed session.
Correct.
Is that correct? But if we try and use a template that exists already, then we might not have to, but we would, in any case, we'd have a public input if they wanted.
We could, we
Is that
don't
what
have
you
to.
said,
have
public
to.
meeting.
That's under our road, so if we close a road allowance.
Oh, I'm
we have to
sorry,
have a
okay,
public meeting.
okay.
For this, we
And
don't
this
have
isn't a
to,
road allowance.
unless you want me to follow the road allowance policy on the rail bed, like yeah.
No, my thought would be, why don't you give us proposal A and proposal B and we can come to, or is this what we're doing right now, is deciding which?
Well, the request is before us and
Okay.
it's on the agenda. I think the question, if everybody is okay surplusing this land, that again, you nailed it, it's not useful to anybody except the people that are beside it. The consideration is, do we go back to the sale and purchase amount from 1992? Or do we use our current bylaw? That's basically what's on the table.
Yeah, 1992 predates everybody except Merv, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
But it would have been the township of Grattan. Were you on council then?
No,
No.
oh,
So it
okay,
predates all
so
of us.
everybody, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay, I'll say that I have no objection to declaring the land surplus from my point. And because it might be more useful and turn into a benefit for us in the hands of somebody who's going to use it. Transparency is probably useful, but we'll do that anyway, no matter what we do, it'll be out in front, we'll say this is what we choose to do.
Well, it's weird. I think Jason has no use for it. I
No,
assume.
no, there's
That's
no,
okay.
there's no.
And
issue
we
with
already asked them, so then all
Yeah.
it be is whatever's the simplest process, right?
Yeah, so it's
And
just,
as long as we can carry that forward with if there is another request, then what's the most simplistic way to do it, right?
Yeah.
So,
so it's just consideration. So the request on the table is, are we willing to declare surplus and transfer the land to the property owners for the amount? From 1992? Or do we want, whether it's negotiation, whether it's to follow the 2007 bylaw? Is there another method? I don't think we want to go to appraisal. It's not a big enough
No.
piece of property to worry about that. You know, what is the process? So the request is, can we buy this property for the amount that was agreed to with the township of Grattan in 1992? That's the request. So, yeah. I'm
And
just looking
that
for
was the
direction.
time of the original railroad closures when we were pulling up the tunnels.
Yes, so I'm just looking for direction so that I can get back to the property owner and say, yes, council has approved that, let's move forward with that. Or council approved your request to purchase the land, but you know, would like to negotiate or would like to follow this with consideration.
Is it
Right.
worth, it's Tracy here, is it worth having the land assessed versus the 1992 value? So I'm trying to follow the bouncing ball here.
I don't think it's
No.
worth having it appraised myself, but if that's the direction I receive, absolutely, I can say to the property owner, you'll have to pay for an appraisal and we want whatever that appraised value is. Or we could close it like a road allowance, which is $5 per linear foot, but requires a survey. Now, it may already be surveyed, I don't know that. So that may not have a cost attached to it, it may just be a matter of looking at the survey and charging $5 per linear foot.
So
My vote is to, but obviously whatever the best cost benefit is to the township. Whatever that number is. If that makes-
So, yeah, no, it makes total sense, Tracy. Okay, so my challenge with this request is we're talking about a township that has been amalgamated into Bonnechere Valley, and my fear would be that we will get requests like this from, you know, the township of Sebastopol in their old days, or South Algona or Eganville, where now we've set a precedent of going back to something that isn't even the township anymore. So my recommendation is, I forgot it was 07, I thought it was 09, but thank you for that. I would say that we stick with the bylaw from 2007. That would be my recommendation, only because I don't want requests coming back from townships that we can't find records for, etc.
And that's because that bylaw originated from the new amalgamated Bonnechere Valley.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that makes that sound.
It should, we are still to this day cleaning up land transfers, etc. from pre-amalgamation. I don't want this to be one more thing that's going to muddy the waters. That is my personal opinion. I'm happy to hear from everyone. And I think Tracy is saying sort of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
As long as we don't set a precedent, I'm willing to go along with 2007.
Gentlemen?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Brent?
No, that's fine, because we haven't said it yet, so.
Okay, so I will let the property owner know that that is the process that we are looking to follow, which would include a public meeting. I'll need some sort of survey document, there may be one already in existence, it doesn't have to be a brand new one. And the price will be set according to what a road allowance would be, even though this is not a road allowance, it's in the same.
Same
way.
thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
It used to be infrastructure, just not ours.
yes, okay,
And I think that we do need to revisit the land behind Tom Kavitz's at a later date, because Annette and I had a discussion about it, it's really choppy. And should we be declaring that land surplus? But we can just, it's not on the agenda, I just want to put it in all of your brains. But now that we've heard from Jason about the land for Tom Kavitz, I think I'm fine with it.
Yeah, but we were saying before that, that'll be a separate issue on
Yes,
another day.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
that
if you
makes
look at the
sense.
map,
Yeah.
it's very odd behind. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, but what Caddis wants is what the other people already have.
exactly.
Yeah, it just
The
makes,
neighbors,
it makes the rectangle.
Yeah,
That's the way to put it.
that's right.
Sounds good.
okay,
That's fine.
so that's fine.
And then-
I'll work with Tom then for, he'll have to survey it. And we'll go through a similar process, the same with the 2007, it'll be a similar to public meeting, similar $5 per linear foot. And although again, it's not a road allowance, it is a bigger chunk of property.
Yeah.
Unless you want me to go through another process, but I mean, they already have to, the current survey is quite expensive and it's not. And then what I want to find out is whether there's an easement on his neighbor's property. Because if there is an easement on his neighbor's property, then he will also be required to put an easement on this property, which will have to go through the county, which will be at his expense.
Sounds good. And then I did miss Boncher 2023 corporate sponsorship request as well. What have we done previously in it?
Don't know because they haven't happened really while I was here.
Yeah,
So because of COVID, now I know with the Madawaska studio tour, we put the banner up for free and that's our sponsorship, right? As opposed to purchasing a $300 or a $600 sponsorship for the Madawaska tour, we pay to put up and take down the banner for free because that is, again, that's about $350. So that's our sponsorship. Now, we are also putting up the banner for free for Monterey, but I don't know if we do an additional amount or we consider.
I
that
don't
as
believe we
sponsorship.
ever have.
No, I can't recall in the
No.
last 4 years, so, no,
Okay.
I would say no,
Yeah.
and then because we're already donating towards.
So I'll send the
Companies.
same response that I sent to
Yeah,
Madawaska. to
exact
say
same.
Our sponsorship will be the
Absolutely.
sponsorship of the
Yeah,
banner.
it's consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So, and that just going back to the Cadets letter, so this is the property, the dotted line is the property he's looking to equalize, is that
Yes.
right?
Yes,
So is this space between the two lots, is that the easement?
No, so that's just to gain access to the road. So there's two accesses to two roads on that
Okay.
piece of property, and we own that whole back piece. But there is a drainage ditch that goes right along, so where you see the Cadets property.
Yep.
And where you see the dotted line.
Yep.
It's right in between them. It goes right on the back of all of those properties.
Like a tile drain, that sort of thing, or
I think
over?
so.
No, it's a ditch,
I don't-
it's an
It's a
open
ditch.
ditch with a
Or
retaining
ditch, a
wall,
swale, yeah,
and it goes all the way through there. Yeah.
okay,
Sorry.
yeah, I have no objection, I just was curious about that.
Yeah,
and the
so,
maps aren't the easiest to read.
so I think
Yeah.
that's why we retained that property originally, but then now if we're gonna start selling it off in pieces. My question is, do we get an easement to make sure that we can get on there to maintain that ditch because it affects our roads? Or, like, I don't know if you pass it on to the property owner that's purchasing the property yet. That could get dicey if they don't keep it up and then it floods the road, so.
Yeah,
We'll have to have a look. But if we've already set precedent selling a piece without getting an easement, I don't know. We'll have to have discussion
Oh.
about that.
Find out.
Jason can let us know.
But
Sounds
the
good.
neighbor's working with us to clean it out right now, so. Everything's working well, but it works well until you get the wrong person that moves in and then you have a problem.
Good point.
Sounds good. So then, that's everything I had in correspondence B, and then we had number 7 for correspondence B as well that we added in. So that was Judy Bates' email for extension.
So I think that we all knew that this was coming because when we had people in the gallery, when we were hearing from our consultants, there was the indication that December 31st was not ideal. I think that a lot of people might already be on holidays. I do agree that there are people that aren't here right now, that own property on the lake. I am fine with giving an extension for many reasons. But I think that this came from the executive of the LCPOA. I know that Annette and staff have received those other 10 for and against emails.
Yep.
I don't see any reason not to give them the time and the space that they need to consult with their own consultants. As far as I'm concerned, I think that in the report, it's great. I think the times are a bit convoluted. I know I would be confused if I had an RV about, day 3 or 7 days or anyway, but that's again, a conversation for another day. But I think at this point, previous council decided we were not scientists. We were going to put this in the hands of consultants. They were given every piece of information we had. We got our report, and now, as for us, I think at this point, it's a done issue being spoken, not a done issue. We've spoken ad nauseum about it, and now I think if they want the time and the space, then they can't come back and say that we put constraints on them. Our consultants took a long time and a lot of their time into this report, and I think that we can afford certain members of the Lake Clear Property Owners Association the same.
Annette, you had 2 comments from earlier, you said?
I did. I just want to make sure that when committee gives direction on this to staff, I just wanted to point out, sorry, I added a third, but it's a quick third. Just that number 1 is that it's not a panic. There's no emergency. We don't have to make this decision tomorrow. There's no deadline on it. Number 2, I just want to point out that if council decides to move forward with any of these recommendations that involve the Planning Act, whether it be zoning or official plan, all of those are subject to appeal to the land tribunal. And so even though we never know if something's going to be appealed or not, and I wouldn't even try to say what's the probability of it being appealed, what it would be, I think we have to be aware that that is a possibility, and that the land tribunal looks very positively on municipalities that ensure proper consultation. And so I want to make sure if we ended up in an appeal at the land tribunals, that we can say we gave every opportunity, we never denied an opportunity for consultation, because there isn't, if it was an urgent thing and we had a deadline and this had to be passed, that would be something. But that's my concern, is if we do have to defend our actions and the decisions that we made, I want it to be as positive as possible in the land tribunal. And so that I just want council to have that information before they make a decision. Those were my only points. Thank you.
Murph?
I've been doing some thinking about this, and I'm gonna toss it out to council. Do you think, is there any value on leaving this till next spring or next summer sometime, and everybody getting into a bus and having a tour around the lake to just see what the situation is, rather than listening to what people tell us?
Well, I think that so. Oh, go ahead, Tracy.
I just said I love that idea, especially as a new counselor, just to get the bigger picture of the lake and what the issues are. But that's just my view.
Going back to my old story, we're doing decisions on assumptions, and you know what assumptions is. It makes an ass out of you and me,
Okay, but
I'd like to see myself, I've seen some of it. I'd like to see myself just exactly what is going on, or what the density is in some places and what is not in other places.
okay,
And
but
have a guide take it.
we wouldn't be able to go onto private property anyway.
Well, there'd be private, well, you drive down the
But
road.
but for the last like 8 years you've been on Merv, you could have taken a driver on.
I've
there,
suggested,
Go on the lake or called anyone on the list.
I-
Like, it's all private property is where it is anyways, unless you're gonna start walking on people's properties, it doesn't make sense. But like, when it comes to it, we waited 1.5 years for the report. Several more months isn't a big deal on it, and people can discuss it further, that's fine. So that means that the final report would just be delayed.
Maybe June?
You know,
July?
you
I
can
don't
say
know.
we should
Yeah,
trespass on
that-
people's property, but we're gonna be making decisions about people's property. We
But-
wanna make the right decision.
But we still can't trespass on people's private property. So I think that you might be able to see some of the RVs and issues from the road, but others you will not. And at this point, if this isn't a taxation issue and it isn't I don't want them in my backyard issue, if we're talking specific that this is a water quality sensitive lake issue, well, we've had the answer from our consultants. We are not going out on the lake and taking samples and knowing what we're talking about. So I just think, I'm not sure to what end a tour of the roads around Lake Clear would give us clarity. That's.
I guess so go ahead, John.
Nope, so I share Tracy's perspective, because I'm new at this, I haven't been looking at it for a long time. So I'll try and and one of the things that I thought I would do, I'd ask if this was reasonable, it's kindly your idea, is if, for instance, Mr. McGrath or Mr. Miller do not choose to put a letter in by our deadline, whatever that deadline is, I would feel almost compelled as a representative to go and have a chat with him in his field, because I think it's easy to perceive that you're getting a lot of input from one side, and I'm feeling badly I haven't talked to some of the other people, and I'll do that on my own, because that gives me information that I can use, information that you guys may already have and I don't have. So that's a thought.
And that's a whole different kettle of fish. I think that I agree with you. We've said from the beginning, the loudest voice doesn't always necessarily get their way. And I do think that both sides need to be heard from. But again, I'm not sure how taking a tour of the roads, we're not going to see.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's the
Okay.
solution. I'm just saying, hearing a little bit from
Yeah.
the squeaky wheels and the less squeaky wheels. So I'm trying to give it, I've got a list already of about 17 questions that are gonna go back to the people who made the report, and some of them are a little technical. My experience is doing environmental assessment with the Ministry of the Environment on large projects, and just a little bit of a participation there. And I know that you're absolutely right, that if, at the end of the day, if someone can show that, look, this whole group of people with this kind of opinion weren't consulted, the stakeholders need to be consulted. My feeling about the Lake Clear report is that it's going to generate some regulations or bylaws that are going to help guide us in the future, and we want to do it really well and get it as close to right as we can the first time. It's not going to be right, but it's going to be close as we can get. So I feel strongly too, like Brent, that let's take a little more time. And I don't feel bad. Do you think I'm out of line if I went and talked to Mr. McGrath one day and I said, well, even if you just voice your opinion or let me know how you see things, because he's been conspicuously absent, and other, not just him, but other people on the other. But I met those people on the campaign trail that
Well,
had.
I think
they all
we
had a
should,
reason.
I think we should leave, I guess you would say, private individuals' names out of it. All the letters are public. You can go and
Yeah.
read them. You can call all the individuals, be it they're for or against regulation. I think that's kind of, it's a bit separate. But no, I think, but yeah, that's up to you if you want to carry forward with that. I think end of the day, we paid they paid the consultants they're bringing the information forward. If we're gonna give them a lot additional time for the public to review the documentation, that's great. And I think that if we want to make sure that all people on Lake Clear get it, then that's great. If other people have input, no different than when you read the 180 letters, like, that's the thing, like, it took us 1.5 years for the consultants to provide the report. Hey, I'm fine, it's Christmas coming up, I know I'm busy, I know people are busy, it's additional time, that's fine. Took a year and a half to get it anyways.
So I had a contrary view. When we were presented with the report, the ask was, please don't phone a member of council, don't email a member of council on their own. We do not work in a silo. We are a team of 5, and we've been given information that we need to take seriously. My concern is that we can't then say, well, on the opposite side, I'm going to go and visit so-and-so where they have their RVs. I think that's completely unfair. I think that we afforded everybody the opportunity to submit emails or written letters to staff that we would take under advisement. And I think whatever side of this you're on, I think it's completely unfair to change those rules in the middle of the game.
Okay.
My feeling is we said, and I know that we're getting emails still, and I just keep forwarding them to Annette. I couldn't have been more clear. It was very well written in the Eganville Leader. Please do not contact one individual member of council. I don't want our views being skewed. I don't want it being said that one of us had a better relationship with somebody than another. And I really feel that we've asked these residents to please, let's have a consolidated place for your concerns. And I think that that's, in fairness, that's the only way to do it. I totally agree with Annette. I think the end of June is not going to make a hill of beans difference. And by that point, our snowbirds will be back, and people will be opening up if they have a seasonal residence. I think that the ask at the table right now is, do we allow an extension to June 30th? My feeling would be yes.
Yep, that's fine.
Might be.
Everybody's okay with
I
that?
can't see a downside, yeah.
I know that they were asking sort of late spring, which in my opinion would be May 31st. I think June 30th is better.
I should
Because-
get most of them back.
Right, and I think that May 2-4 timeframe is a bit strange. And I will turn to Tracy.
Yep, 2 things. I agree. An extended time frame. I love your time frame of end of June. I think that's sufficient. And I just wanted to add further commentary to Merv's idea, and also weighing on the fact that I'm a new counselor. It's also not just the water quality to me, but it's the distance of the RV from the water, which is also part of the report, right? If we're going to set regulations. So again, it's on my time. If I want to go take a look, I can take a look from the water and probably see, get a greater picture of what's going on in Lake Claire.
Yeah, if you want to do it from the water, I don't think that's a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. That was just what I wanted to add. And again, it's on my own time. And if we have till June 30th, then great. And it's just for my information as to educate myself. So when the time comes that we're voting on this, that I have all the facts.
Yeah, and I think the ribbon of life is probably one of the biggest things in that report, as like aside from the licensing and the 3 days, 7 days, whatever. And I think that you're absolutely right, Tracy. But when we do the zoning bylaw, whether it be inside our comprehensive zoning bylaw or outside of it, I think that that ribbon of life will have to be very well written into the bylaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we cannot use quality of life for the lake unless we do have some kind of testing. And there was a good opening in that report with the LPPs. And I'm a member of our teams at my Carson Lake or Trout Lake near Barry's Bay. We do that it's under the umbrella of FOCA, but it's accepted by the ministry as a way of continually surveying the health of your lake. And I think that may have to be part at least of the preamble to anything we decide.
Yeah.
I think we dealt with what the request was, in all fairness.
Yeah.
So the extension will be till June 30th, so
Thank you.
just let all parties know. Perfect. There is no correspondence C. So,
Brent Chagrin.
yeah.
Can we create one for Brent?
I know, right?
Yeah, well, I can carry us into 2024, that's
I'm
fine.
feeling you, Tracy.
But, yeah, so 8.1 museum report, none, no library report. So now we're on to the mayor's report.
So, members of council, staff, volunteers, residents, press, I'll continue my normal mayor report next year. But I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you and not bore you with my plethora of meetings and events over the last few weeks. As we are at the end of our first year of the term, I'm filled with appreciation and admiration for all of you. To our council members, your enthusiasm in representing the needs of our residents is recognized in all that you do. Together, we have navigated through some challenges, celebrated a few successes, and remain dedicated in our community to serving Bonnechere Valley. Thank you also for supporting me in all of my other crazy endeavors. Without your support, I could not be part of any external board. To our incredible staff, led by our CAO Annette Gilchrist, your dedication to service and the hours spent ensuring the smooth operation of our township has not gone unnoticed. You truly go above and beyond, and we are so thankful for all of your hard work. You are the true superheroes of the township. On behalf of council, I also want to extend deepest gratitude to the amazing volunteer groups. I'm afraid if I start naming them, I'll forget one. So I'll just say a huge thank you for your time and commitment to fundraise, organize events. The list could go on and on and on. But all of these certainly improves the lives of the residents of Bonnechere Valley and beyond. Thank you to our residents who motivate us to strive for excellence every day. Your voices matter to us, and while our decisions might not always be popular, we do have the best interests of all of Bonnechere Valley at this table. I'm immensely proud and honored to be part of such an exceptional team and serve this wonderful township. As we say goodbye to 2023, let's look forward to the new year and the exciting opportunities that 2024 will certainly bring. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your families. May the coming year be filled with joy and good health. Thank you.
Perfect.
I knew I wasn't getting through that without tearing up a bit.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Trace.
Even though I don't have a report, can I make a comment? So my friends and people on the street ask me, are you sorry you got elected? And to say without a moment's doubt, I say, no, I'm capable of doing the job. It's an interesting job, and I work with a good team. We haven't had any drag them out fights yet, so I'll say that.
Thanks, John.
I have to say the same thing to everyone as well. It's been a blast. It's been a fun ride, and I can't wait till the new year.
Take care of yourself, okay?
Well, Brent, I'm sorry, I do have another something to add. It's about the museum. It's actually about December 2nd, the community events we had.
Oh, yes, that's part of the mayor's report, actually. We just didn't have that in. Go ahead. It's a very broad report, so.
It's just to say, there was a lot of work put into that and collaboration in the community. I know Kayla was involved, Sarah, and each of the vendors. And Jen, we sort of crossed paths and shared some of I did a bunch of Facebook Lives at various establishments to help them promote their business, help them promote their products. But the whole day was just a real buzz of activity, and it was really festive, and it was really nice to see how everybody came together, and it was wonderful. So hopefully it's a template for future initiatives in terms of collaborating.
That was an amazing day.
Yeah.
I managed to get to every one of the vendors. So I shopped local all day long. Trace, I did feel I was being a bit stalked by you in your live Facebooking. She was following me around with her, yeah.
Some people were nervous, but we got through it.
we did get through it, but no, I think, between the museum and our space, My Country Home, the Rusty Lantern, the EDPS, there were too many places to name. It was so incredible all day. We had so much fun. So thanks so much to the museum and whomever else was a part of it. Fantastic job. And normally at this time, I would have thanked Rotary as well and everybody for the Christmas parade. I will do that in January. I'll just make it a big, long mayor's report. So, but I just felt that for today, being our first year together, I didn't want to let the day go without thanking everybody.
Perfect. Thanks, John. Okay, establish next meeting, 2024. I think it's January 16th. Media session, Debbie?
So with the RV issue, like, we're sort of in limbo still, then. Is that?
Well, we're not. We said that we would revisit it when we had comments. After
Right.
December 31st, they've asked for an extension. So we're in limbo, but they're doing their thing.
Yes, but what I mean is, like, right now, because I remember when Bruce and the team from the county was here for the comprehensive zoning, which I can't remember if that was last council or this council.
Last.
Yeah.
That was
Last
last
council.
council, and the RV part was left out.
Yes.
Of the comprehensive zoning, so we're basically in a limbo state for the entire township. With
We-
RVs.
We just didn't change anything. So we're
Okay.
exactly as we always were from
Okay.
when the zoning bylaw was there before. We just didn't make any, we had some proposed changes to like definitions and different things. So we just didn't change anything. We left it all the same as how, I forget what year the zoning bylaw was it 2013?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's all under the 2013. We just didn't make any amendments to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the sort of gray area that was there before, right? Because that was part of the issue, is that it was gray.
That's
What
right.
you could do. But anyway, but what I wanted to get at is like, this report, like, it only addresses Lake Clear.
Correct.
And there is a whole township besides Lake Clear. So, I mean, eventually at some point, and that's the thing, it would either be like a bylaw or it would be adding on to the comprehensive zoning. Cause I was looking at it the other day and there is that sort of RV section, it's very short.
Yes.
Doesn't really say much. And I did remember that Bruce had recommendations and the county had recommendations and it was all pulled out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because we were gonna deal with this all for once and for all, but then now a lot of the discussion.
Great term.
But the discussion seems to all be centering around Lake Clear, and I know there's people that live in other parts of the township too, right? And so anyway, so I guess that will all be addressed sometime later on after June
But-
2024.
You nailed it though. So number one, when we had a consultation, I specifically said, we are only talking about Lake Clear,
Mhm.
right? At capacity, sensitive lake, whatever term you want to use, we are only discussing Lake Clear. So I think that when we do our zoning bylaw, if we do not hear concerns, I'm not sure that there's any benefit in opening that up. When we don't have other at capacity lakes, we do have rules in place if you wanted to have a tent and trailer park, etc.
Mhm.
So yes, at this time, you are absolutely correct.
Yeah, because I guess part of the follow-up question then is, is there like, you've only received 10 letters so far,
Yeah.
which I find surprising, when you think about the 150 that were received, I don't know how many years ago that was. So anyway, and I mean, I think that's when it was sort of seen as something that could be impacting more people than just the X number of properties around Lake Clear. So is this something that people in other parts of the township should take an interest in?
Absolutely. Like, I think that it's, sorry.
Go for it.
Well, no, like, I mean,
Look at
if
Yes,
we've got another 6 months to comment, is it something that is, could be of interest to other people in the township to comment on as well?
Yes, the study that we're looking at is specific to Lake Clear. So the
Mhm.
comments are, any comments made, any discussion is specific to Lake Clear, but it is a township issue. So, council represents the entire municipality, and the decisions they're not automatically going to impact the rest of the township. But, once we go through it, and then if council does decide to amend zoning bylaws or anything like that, it's, once you open something up and you have public consultations, That's, at that point, there will be, if it impacts anything else, there will be lots of consultations and lots of times to comment there. But that doesn't stop you if you are a resident of Gold Trip Valley and you have an opinion on this matter. It may be you don't live or you don't have a cottage on Lake Clear, but maybe you go there to fish, or maybe you know, rent a cottage there for a weekend, or so there may be other people that are impacted that maybe don't own property specifically or aren't permanent there, but they may camp. Don't forget, there's the islands that people camp on, so there may be other people impacted that we haven't heard from that might have something to say. So, you know, happy to take whatever comments come our way and pass it on to council and consultants. I have a consolidated list, and you know, and then once we review it all, then possibly some of the recommendations will change from the consultants. I don't know. They may all stay exactly the same. You know, the mayor was mentioning some comments about whether we could be more clear on certain things, and maybe we can, maybe we can't. But those are all discussions we want to make sure we have, as John said too, to get it as right as we can. You know, and whether it stays specific, it's only going to impact this property here, then that's all it's going to impact. If other people have thoughts or concerns or stuff they want to express, but at this point in time, it's just, that's all the study is focused on. That's all.
To Debbie's point, I did have a phone call from somebody on Golden Lake, and I did have a phone call from somebody that doesn't even live on the lake. So to your point, yes, I asked them to email if they had, you know, what their concerns or their thoughts were. I haven't heard from either of them. I'm not sure if I know the office hasn't, but you're right. Other people have reached out.
And when you speak about that, because like even when I drive home, like I drive up by, there's a property that's not on the lake. There's 2 RVs sitting there all summer, you know, and they're not only being used for 3 days or 7 days or whatever. Yeah, quite obviously. So, I mean, you know, there's lots of, you know, other properties in the township. And then of course there is the bylaw enforcement costs, which would be borne by all ratepayers in the township, not just people living around.
So is the licensing bylaw only going to be for Lake Clear?
Yeah.
You know, so those are comments. Yeah, for sure. We're open to hear, and you know, suggestions, comments. Maybe somebody's got a really smart way that, you know, we haven't seen yet.
So one thing that I think will come out of this, regardless of whether it's for Lake Clear or Bon Valley generally, is perhaps a definition of RV, which is lacking now. And it'll have to be one that ends up being acceptable to people on any body of water in the township. So I think it'll fall from what we're trying to do, that we'll get some things that are universally applicable to everybody.
But that would again come under the other consultation. I want to hear from people, but I just want to make sure that they're commenting on what we're dealing with right now. And if that leads to a new RV definition and that affects the whole township, there would be a whole other consultation on that.
Okay.
I just don't want people to feel like I have to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy to hear from you, but if that were to happen, there will be another round and actually open houses and all kinds of stuff. So don't feel that you're left out if you want to comment on it, but don't feel like you can't comment on it. I guess it's funny. Yeah. Nobody's excluded. Well, maybe people from other townships are excluded.
Anything else, Debbie?
Yeah, so the other question that I have, and this one is more specific to the village of Eganville. Like I heard in Daryl's report, there's a 4% increase. And I did see a copy of the report, but I didn't see like what that amounts to in dollars and cents for people.
That's gonna come at the January meeting when we have
That
the
would be
rates.
in the January, okay.
But that's a very good point, because that's what the dollars to donuts, right?
Yeah.
It's,
That's where it hits the
well,
bottom.
and you know what? You're gone to press now anyway, so you could do an all-encompassing water and sewer in January.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that would come
So
to the
the-
first meeting then?
we only have one, January 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
but that's a very good point.
Anything,
then-
anything else, Debbie?
Okay, I'll be just like the mayor and I'll wish everybody Merry Christmas and thank you for being so good to deal with and answering my questions and taking my phone calls and all that kind of stuff. So Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Debbie. Merry
Likewise
Christmas.
to you, Jen.
Thank you.
Okay, so don't have any closed sessions. Could ask for an adjourn. Merv, all those in favor? Perfect, thank you. Perfect.
Okay. So January 16th is our budget meeting where we blacken that
No.
blackboard.
No,
No,
the
that's
regular. council
January
meeting.
16th is
Oh,
regular.
our regular.
Yeah, our
Okay.
budget meeting is going to be in February.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah, okay.
February.
Yes, we're gonna.
Okay.
No, we're
I'm
not.
gonna shut down Tracy and I'll.
Don't start, young man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave.
Yes, please, and then come back.